This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sphurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
दोस्तों नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, वड़क्कम, वेलकम. आप सभी का भारत एफएम के इस कार्यक्रम में जिसका के नाम है रूबरू, नो योर आरजे, में तहे दिल से स्वागत है. और मैं हूं आपका दोस्त और आपका होस्ट आशीष झा. तो दोस्तों आज हम जिनसे रूबरू हो रहे हैं उनका जो सेगमेंट है भारत एफएम पर, उसका नाम है मधुर गानम, विच इज अ तमिल सेगमेंट एंड इट्स अ तमिल वर्जन ऑफ the Hindi Meri Awaaz Suno, which you might be aware of. So before we bring Madhu in, a little bit about her. Her full name is actually Madhangi. She was born in Chennai, India, and she has been in the US for over 15 years now. And currently she resides in Atlanta. She is an MBA in HR and currently she works as a talent acquisition lead with Cigna. She is passionate about dancing. And in other interests, she has served in Connecticut Tamil Sangam for 4 years as executive committee member and secretary. She is a Bharathanatyam dancer and a teacher, and she runs her own dance school called Nadanaalaya for over 10 years now. She is passionate about performing Parai, which is a percussion instrument. And as you already know, she is an RJ at Bharat FM. So let's go ahead and get started with this session tonight and know a little bit more about Madhu. Welcome, Madhu.
Thank you, Ashish. Thanks for that beautiful introduction.
Thank you very much for being on our show, Rubaru, and agreeing to share your story with not just with us, but with the entire world. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I should thank you for that. It's an absolute pleasure. And this is the first time I'm being on the other side because I've been on the other side interviewing people, and this is going to be a different experience for me altogether.
Exactly. And I can assure you it will be a wonderful experience. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started. And as you already know, the format of this show is basically about your life journey, starting right from your birth, I would say. Mm-hmm. So tell us, where were you born and how was your childhood?
Okay, so I was born in Singara, Chennai, as they call it. I love Chennai any day. Even after being here so many years, Chennai is the best place. Nothing can beat that. So I was born and brought up there, and I did my schooling in Chennai as well, my college in Chennai as well. And lived there throughout until I got married and moved to US. So that's the first change in my life.
So is this proper Chennai or one of the suburbs of Chennai?
No, it's proper Chennai. We lived in the city. In
the city itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And right now our house is in a place called Saligramam. It's kind of heart of the city, as they call it. The Kollywood industry, Kodambakam. It's pretty close to that. So it's a very busy and happening place.
Very nice. Okay. So how many members did you have in your family growing up? Like, was it like a big family, huge family living around, or how was the family structure, if you can share that?
Absolutely. We were just a very small and sweet family, just the four of us, mom, dad, myself, and my sister. And I grew up alone for a long time because me and my sister are 8 years apart. So For the first 7, 8 years, I was all by myself, just with mom and dad. And then after she came in, that was a beautiful addition to the family. And it was just the four of us. So no regrets about that. It's not that, I missed being part of a bigger family. We did have, relatives and friends. But growing up in a nuclear family was definitely a good experience because mom and dad were more like friends for us than parents. So we definitely enjoyed childhood with them.
That's very nice. So how did you feel after 8 years when you were 8-year-old? Now you have a sister who is getting more attention because you were getting that attention for the last 8 years.
True.
You did mention that that was a very good addition, but be honest, how did you feel?
To be very honest, I did not feel jealous or bad at all. That's
Very
actually
nice.
the fact, yeah. Because I was trying to, project myself more as a second mom for her, trying to take care of her, helping my mom and doing everything for her and being a very responsible kid. So that way I really enjoyed that, being the elder one in the family. So definitely it was a good experience and I never felt jealous at all.
So did it remain that way forever, or when she grew up, did you guys fight at all? I mean, I know there was an 8-year difference. So the chances of the fight, which I see in my daughters who are just 2 year apart and they are ready to kill each other, I doubt that must have happened between you and your sister. But tell us a little bit about that relationship that you have had with your sister.
Absolutely. It's a very beautiful bonding that I have with her. Her name is Mridula. I hope she is watching the show. And as she grew up, and when I started working, when I entered college and I started working after that, she was just finishing her school at that time. And that was the time we were really bonding well together. We became very good friends because that age was, the right age for us to get out and enjoy. And both of us didn't have a lot of friends at that time. So we shared everything with each other. But as you rightly said, we fight. Give us any topic, we will have an argument, we will end up in a fight, but that won't last long. We will have a fight as though we are like, we're not going to see each other, after that anymore. That's how it will be in the morning. And then later in the afternoon, both of us will be cuddling and having fun and, let's go for a movie and we'll go together. So it's been a very nice, bonding with her. And till date, it continues. And she's here in Atlanta. And
she lives in Atlanta too.
She does, which is a very,
Lucky
very
you.
unexpected coincidence. Yep, we didn't plan for it. It happened that way. We got married, and she was in India for a while, and I was here. And then she moved to Florida, and I was in Connecticut, and finally we ended up here together. So,
very nice. That's amazing. That is really good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's go back to your childhood days and tell us a little bit about your school days. What kind of student you were at school?
I was not a first bench student for sure, but I was not bad at studies. I was really good in studies. But
So when you say not a first bench student, were you naughty? Were you mischievous?
Not really, but I used to mingle with a lot of naughty kids. Personally, myself, if you ask my mom or if you ask my friends, they would say I'm a very goody person, very nice, soft-spoken and all that. But my friendship circle has always been like with naughty and mischievous people. I don't know why. Maybe since that's not my nature, I love to be with those kind of people around. So that's how I've been. So I've always been a last bencher. But, out of that, all those last benchers, I would be the person who gets good scores and, good marks. So they'll all curse me for that. They'll be like, you're always with us, and how do you score marks? I mean, that's the way it is.
Okay.
It was fun. I enjoyed school like anything.
Right. So your entire schooling was in the same school, or did you have to switch schools in between?
Just for my high school, I had to switch. I studied in a school called St. Anthony's, which is a Christian institution, until my 10th grade. And then for higher secondary, I studied in a school called St. Abbas. Again, it's a Christian institution, and just for those 2 years. And then my college was Women's Christian College, again, a Christian institution.
Okay. So at school, other than studies, what all were your hobbies, extracurricular activities that you were involved in, and what were you passionate about other than studies?
Right from childhood, right from 5 years, 4 or 5 years, dance has been my passion. I love dancing, and it's still continuing to be the same. The moment I hear music, I want to dance. And that's always been there. So any cultural programs in school, I will be the first person to give my name. So most of the time I won't be in the class. I'll be out practicing dance and spending time with friends. But I even today I feel like dance makes me so happy. Whenever I dance, I feel so refreshed, and I feel like it's a stress buster for me. So that has been my passion all through.
So when you say dance, is it specifically Bharatanatyam or any form of dance?
I started with Bharatanatyam. Since I was interested in dance, my parents put me in the dance class, and I love singing too. Unfortunately, I can't sing now because I didn't have proper training in it. So those two were my interest areas, and dance obviously was my first preference. So at that point in time, my parents said, "You can choose one. We cannot put you in two classes, due to the financial constraints." So I said, okay, then I'll go with dance. And I started my Bharatanatyam lessons at the age of 5. And no looking back after that. I've been training from that age. And when I entered my high school, that's when I completed my Arangetram. It's more like a graduation in
Graduation, yeah.
Yep. So
Correct.
you reach that completion point. So at that point in time of life, that was a big expense. My mom was definitely not willing to do that, not because she didn't want to support me, but a typical parent's perspective, she wanted to save that money for my wedding and all that, and she didn't want to spend that much money just for an Bharatanatyam Arangetram. But I should thank my dad at this point for that. He was very supportive. I didn't eat for a week. I was like, no, I want to get this done. Otherwise, I'm not eating food. I was on a hunger strike for a week, and then finally I got what I wanted. And thanks for that. Because if I had not done that day, I wouldn't be able to continue it till today. And I'm teaching so many kids. I perform on stages, and I'm really happy that I did that at that point.
So if you were so passionate about that, did at any point in time occur to you that you should actually make it a profession instead of a passion that you have? Did that occur to you?
A lot of times.
Okay.
That's a great question. Yep. A lot of times I've thought about it. I wanted to pursue dance as my career. In fact, my dad was insisting as well. He said if I was so interested, I should, take that as a career. But like I said, I was not from a very well-off background, even though, my parents were like so sweet. They made us very comfortable. They didn't, let us realize the struggles at all. But still, I know the kind of financial struggles and constraints we were under. So the more I like dance, at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I, study well, and I wanted to get into a good job, a good position in a good profession where I can support my family. I can give back to my parents. So when it came to a point where I had to balance both, I thought, okay, I will still continue my passion, but practically, I thought taking up a profession would be much better choice for life. So that's how I got into my career.
And what kind of dreams did you have when you were growing up? I mean, as a kid, usually you dream a lot. I mean, almost on a daily basis, your dreams keep changing.
Right.
What kind of dreams did you have growing up?
I didn't have anything specific in mind, but the only thing I always dream about is being a very independent woman and trying to inspire as many people as possible. That's something I always wanted to do in life. Never let go of anything, whatever the situation is, just rise up and give your best. You will be able to face that situation. So I have seen my mom doing that during a lot of struggles, and she's a big inspiration for me. And I learned that courage from her. So I definitely wanted to be someone who people will look up to when, they look at me, they should be like, okay, this person is an inspiration. She does so many things. She's bold, she's good in decision making. And if you have a problem, you can depend on her, that kind of thing. I wanted to be a very independent and dependable person. So I think I have achieved it to an extent today. So if not,
yes, completely. You have definitely. So, when you dreamt about being a dancer, and say you reached your point at the 10th grade is a very critical juncture of your life in India, right?
Right.
That is the point where you decide, okay, what is your interest in? What was going through your head? I know that you loved dance and you wanted to make it a career, but for obvious reasons, you didn't want to do that at that point. You wanted to support your family.
Right.
So what was going on in your head at that point when you passed your 10th class exams? 10th grade?
Yep, that's a very interesting situation because I weighed in my options. I decided dance is just going to be my passion, not a career. So I wanted to, decide about my career. And the way I decided it was very interesting because I hate maths, and somehow, luckily, I scored 90% in 10th grade. So that was really, really lucky for me to.
After you hating something, you scored 90%.
That's why I said it's just by luck. Maybe the question paper
Imagine
was
if you
so
would have
easy.
loved it, what would have happened?
It just happened, sometimes miracles happen. So that's how it happened. So I was waiting to get rid of maths after I completed my 10th grade. And I was not very fond of science as well. So I was just thinking, what group should I, go for? I don't like maths. I don't like science. So then, the other interest I had was interacting with people. I wanted to be ahead of the company. Like I said, I wanted to be an individual woman, so independent woman. So I wanted to head a company, in the human resources department. I want to interact with people. I want to hire resources for the company, plan the human resource management for the organization that I work for. So then I thought, if that's what is the path that I'm going to choose, then obviously, doing a master's degree in human resources is going to be my ultimate destination. So I wanted to take my graduation very lightly, something that I can enjoy, and at the same time follow my passion as well. So I scored 99% in English in 10th grade, which was the state second and school first at that time.
Wow.
So I loved English, I loved literature, and that was my major interest at that time. So then I thought, okay, why not English literature? Bachelor's degree in literature, something that I would like, and then obviously I can get into MBA later. So that's how I chose my graduation and went for it.
Okay. Now tell me, in your school days and from your family, who has influenced you or inspired you the most and made you the person that you are today?
Absolutely, all credit to my mom. So if you look at her, she's a very soft-spoken person, but by heart, she's such a bold woman, and the kind of decision-making skills she has, the way she looks at life, I've grown up looking at that. I'm looking up to her for each and everything in life. Even today, if I have a problem or if I'm not feeling good, she would be the first person I go to, and I would get the right kind of motivation and words from her. So absolutely, she has been my greatest inspiration till date, and I love her.
Okay. So do you try to be like her, like try to copy her in any which way?
Not really. I just take the good qualities from her. And like I said, I want to be an independent woman. So I want to be myself, somebody who people can look up to, and I don't want to follow anyone. So.
Okay. All right. So so during your college days, how was your college days when you were doing your graduation? Um, uh,
College wasn't fun, surprisingly. I don't know why.
It was not fun.
It was not. Yeah.
Why was that?
I'll tell you why. Because I was like I said, I was not a very naughty person. I was a very soft-spoken, very responsible person at school as well. But I enjoyed school life a lot because my friend circle was like that. But when I got into Women's Christian College, it was a totally different experience for me. People were coming from very high-class families. Their communication skills was awesome, and I felt so. I was not comfortable with that group at all. So I was like, what did I do? Did I take a right decision by, taking English literature? Maybe that's not the right group for me. Just because I scored 99%, I, took that as a choice. But after coming into college, I was like, I'm no way going to match these girls. And the way they dressed, the way they spoke, I was like, okay, this is not the place for me. It took me almost a year to get out of that. And, I was like, okay, you can do this. You are what you are. So you don't have to be like someone, like you just asked me. So that's when that transformation happened to me. I was like, okay, the way you dress, the way you speak, you carry yourself well, and let other people follow you. You don't have to follow somebody and be like them. If that's what the trend is at that time, let them do what they want, but you don't have to get scared about that, right? So it took me almost a year to get to that mindset, and then I started enjoying it a little bit. But by the time I completely got into the groove, college was done.
You were done.
So it was not a very great experience for me.
Okay. And as you mentioned, you had already planned that after your graduation, you're going to go ahead with your MBA in HR. You're also very sure about that's
right.
Exactly what you wanted.
Right. Yeah.
I'm assuming at the end of your bachelor's degree, you knew exactly what you had to do, right?
Absolutely. Yep. The only thing I did not do right at that point was my decision was right, but I should have gotten into one of the top-notch colleges and completed my MBA. But I didn't have proper guidance at the time, or rather, I didn't think about it that way. I wanted to start working right after I did my bachelor's degree. Yeah. No, not MBA.
After your
Right after
bachelor's
my
degree.
bachelor's degree, I wanted to start working. I wanted to support my family. I wanted to help my mom. So that was, that thought was dominating my mind. So I just went ahead and started looking for jobs. I just started in the front office, admin kind of work, and I started MBA through distance education. And I was working and doing part-time MBA. That's how I completed it.
Wow, that's
so
awesome.
I mean, I don't regret that, but after completing it and after a few years, I felt like I should have done it in a good college. That would have made a big difference somehow. So I missed that opportunity.
Okay. So while you were working, you were also studying, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to complete the MBA, the distance one?
It was the same. It was the same 3 years course, and then I had additional 1 year to submit my project assignment and all that, and get the graduation completed. So,
and all this while you stayed with the same company doing your admin job?
I switched at least 3 jobs during that time. So I was just experimenting, right? I took part-time jobs, I took temporary jobs. I just wanted to explore and see what works, what doesn't work. And that's how I landed in a IT company. IT was happening at the time. So it was really hot and happening, IT market. So I started as a front office assistant, and then I moved into administration, and then I was a HR assistant. And then finally I ended up as a talent acquisition assistant in one of the big IT companies. Right.
And this was in Chennai?
My MBA, in Chennai. So that was my first breakthrough. Once I got there, then no looking back. I know what I wanted to do. I got there. I completed my MBA. So the stage was all set at that point.
Oh, very nice. So you have been doing talent acquisition for a very long time then?
I am. I've been doing it for a long time now. Yep.
That is a very interesting job to me. Like to me, I think that it involves a lot of psychology.
Absolutely.
Human psychology that you need to understand when you are doing a talent acquisition. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what goes in your head when you are trying to look for a talent which is an exact match or very close to an exact match that you're looking for? What goes through your head? What is the process? How is your mind thinking?
Yeah. So basically, when I talk to my managers and understand the requirements, the first thing, understanding the person, that starts from the manager himself. Even before you could talk to candidates, first, you need to understand your manager, because you need to understand his mindset. Some managers are very flexible. They would be willing to consider candidates who are out of their requirement as well. If the candidate is good, they would be willing to consider. So they'll be flexible. Some managers are like you. Even if you give them the A+ candidate, they won't be happy. They'll be like, no, I want the purple squirrel. So you need to understand who you're working with first. So that itself involves a lot of psychological, understanding there. And then when talking to different kinds of candidates, that again is definitely a mind game. Understanding when I have the first level of conversation with the candidates, trying to do my HR screening, it's more from a behavioral perspective. I try to understand how desperate they are, to get that job, and what kind of expectations they have when they're, talking about this job, and what would be the best selling aspect. For some people, the company itself would be, a good selling aspect. They would want to come into a good branded company. So if that is the, selling point, we can use that. For some people, it doesn't matter. Salary is the only thing that matters. For some people, more than anything else, it's the role and responsibility that matters. So you just need to have that conversation with them, try to understand what they're looking for. And it's a very interesting experience. Every day I speak with different people, different attitude, different mindset. So, just play with it, have a conversation with them, and I just go with the flow.
Do you happen to remember any incidents which has stuck in your head because it was something unique that you experienced in your career?
There has been a lot of instances like that. One thing I love about this job, the talent acquisition job, is the satisfaction that you get when you make an offer and finally, have someone accept the job. The satisfaction that you get, that's priceless. So one of the recent incidents I can mention that. So this person was given notification from the company that he's going to leave in the next 30 days or so, and he had the option to reapply within the company and find another job if that's an option. So basically, it was just a layoff, and there was nothing to do about his performance. That's nothing to do about his performance. So he came to me and he said there was one, and it almost like 15-20 days was gone, and he had the last 10 days of his service. And he came to me and said he had one job that was posted, and he was interested in that. I was a recruiter for that, and he approached me and said, I just have 10 more days. Is there any ways, you could push this process and, help me get this job? So I had a very detailed conversation with him, trying to understand what he was doing, what he could do. He was not a great fit for that role, but I really wanted to help him. So I was trying to dig a lot of things from his technical background, what he has done and things like that. And I made a very detailed summary, and I went to the manager and I told the manager about the conversation I had with him. I explained it, and I told the manager that he has only 10 more days, otherwise he's losing his job. So the manager was like he was a very nice person. He listened to everything, even though he also understood that this person is not 100% fit. But from the way I explained the other aspects of this person, like, how he could fit in well, and he was definitely trainable, even though he didn't have the skills on table. So the manager was willing to listen, and typically what takes about like 2 to 3 weeks time, the overall process, the interview, the offer process, getting him on board and all that, typically it takes at least 2 weeks time. We were able to complete that within 2 days. We were like getting closer. By the time he applied, we had this conversation, and the offer stage, it was just 2 days left. And I called HR as a special request. I told them to extend his the last date to by a week, and they have not done that before. So it went as a special request. I wanted to make sure that he gets his offer, because I didn't want him to have a break in that service. So they went to employee relations, and they put in this request, and they were able to extend it by just 3 days. And then I was able to get him the offer out, and he took it. And right on the day when he was supposed to leave, he switched to a different job in the same company, but with a different manager and department. And he was so thankful for that. He sent me a gift, and he was personally very emotionally moved. And the satisfaction that I had on that day, like, it's totally words cannot explain how happy I was. So one of the incidents that I felt really happy for taking a job like that.
Good that you had a happy ending over there. Otherwise, I was just waiting. There was no anti-climax over there.
No, I was just trying to share only a positive experience there. So
Okay, all right. Well, with that, I will ask you another question.
Sure.
What has been the biggest failure for Madhu in life, and what has Madhu learned out of that experience?
That's a great question. I'll keep it a little bit lighter. I don't want to talk about anything heavy. One of the biggest failures for me is losing weight. Right from childhood, I've been so chubby, and I have been trying my best to lose weight, but that has never happened. And it's been on the other side. It's been increasing over years. But I definitely, that's a failure from my end. I'm still trying. I'm not able to succeed. But the positive side of it is I just started taking things as it is. I started living with that. I dance, just with the same body. I did my Arangetam as well when I was chubby only. So I have never been on the slim side. So I try to keep myself more cheerful. I carry myself well. I try to carry myself well. And like I said, I don't have any inhibitions performing on stage. I've been through a lot of body shaming. That's the reason I brought that up. So even at school, I have been through those, body shaming comments and all that. But the best part was that did not affect me, even though I know I failed in what I wanted to do, but that's totally fine. There are a lot of other positive things that you can project about yourself, and just one negative thing doesn't have to pull you down. So
I agree. So what was your thought process when something like that used to happen with you? Because not everybody can take it. I mean, it's very, very difficult when somebody is body shaming or bullying you.
Right.
You have to be mentally very, very tough to be able to take that.
Mm-hmm.
So were you doing something to overcome that, or how were you making yourself mentally strong to go through that?
Yeah. So initially, like, I used to be really, really down when I, hear those kind of comments. This I'm talking about like during my school days. Like, I used to cry for hours a day. I used to come back home and cry. I feel bad about it. I share it with my mom. And first thing, obviously, my mom has been her biggest support, and she would never let me down. She'd always say positive things. And over a period of time, I started thinking, like I said, there are so many things positive about a person that you can look at. And these things doesn't even matter. So I started consoling myself, and I said, is this going to stop you from growing or stop you from doing things that you want to do in life? No. Then that's a shame if I'm going to do that. So I need to prove in front of those people who were passing comments that this doesn't matter at all. I'm far better than who you think I am, right? So that I keep telling that to myself, and that infused a lot of confidence in me. And there was one point I would definitely like to mention. After all these years, like after marriage, my husband, he has been a biggest pillar of support. He is such a sweet person, and we fell in love without seeing each other. Actually, it's more like a movie story. So, and
do you mind sharing a little bit, or is that something very personal to you?
I can give you a short version of that. So
we would love to hear that.
I was in Chennai, and I was working for a consulting firm, and he was here in US at that time. So he already moved to US, and he was working in IT. So he happened to reach out to me for one of the job postings that I had put in. So he emailed me for that, for inquiring for a friend, and we exchanged few emails, and then the emails changed into phone calls, and then phone calls changed into chat, and then chat moved into video calls. And that's how we got to know each other, and we were talking with each other for almost 1.5 years, and then we decided, yes, this is what it is. We are going to get married. And then we, took it to our parents. But we haven't seen each other. We shared a couple of pictures. And at that time, it was not like, you cannot just take your phone and do a WhatsApp or anything like that. So I still remember the picture that I shared with him. I had to go to a studio, take a picture, upload it, and, send it through email. So that's how it was. And that was the time when the Rediff chat, and there was another one as well, 123 India and things like that, right? The public chat forums, that was popular at that time. So that's how we used to chat. And
now don't tell me the very first time you saw him was at the airport.
Not at the airport. He came straight to my office. It was 4 days before our marriage. Everything got finalized. The families met each other. Everything was all set. And just 4 days before marriage is when we saw each other for the first time.
The reason I said that is because my story is exactly similar to what yours is.
Wow, that's interesting.
except that me and my wife, we met each other for the very first time when she came to the airport to pick me up. When I was going there to get married. After 10 days we got married.
Right.
And we saw her. We saw each other at the airport. So I was just waiting. If you said that, then
the only difference was not at the airport. From the airport, he came straight to my office. So that's where we met first time. So.
Okay, but very similar. But very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the reason I mentioned about that is because the body shaming part that came up, that topic came up even when we were getting ready for the wedding, like when both families met. More than anything else, the first thing they felt was, irrespective of our family status, education, caste, and all that stuff, the first thing that came on their mind was the personality, the physical match, because my husband is a little bit on the thinner side, and I always used to be chubby. So that was the first thing that bothered them. And I was so broken. I was like, you have so many good things to see, and why is this a problem? And I really broke, and I cried so much. I called him and I said, I tried myself to, keep myself confident, and, I've been like trying my best to get out of it, and I was almost out of it. And then now at this point, when we are going to get married, this again comes up as a problem. And I just couldn't take it. I was so disappointed. And then my husband, I still remember that, those words my husband said. He said, for everyone around, it's just one day occasion. They're going to just come attend the marriage and go. They're just going to, it's just one day thing for them, but for us it's a lifelong bonding, it's a lifelong commitment. So you decide which is more important. People talking for one day, is that going to take us through life, or the bonding that we are going to have, is that going to carry us through? And then he
Wonderful.
said, yeah, think about it and then decide. And I was like, okay, I was totally clear after hearing those words. I said, yeah,
Wonderful.
it's our
Wonderful.
life, we decide what we want to do, not people who are commenting. So
Salute to him.
yeah,
Awesome personality.
I love him for that.
You need people like that in your life, and you feel proud of yourself when you have people like that in your life.
Absolutely. And the feeling you
That's
get, you feel like you have conquered the world. Everything is.
Yes, exactly.
So,
So, how long were you in Chennai working?
throughout, like right from my birth, I've been there, right? So,
No. For your job before you got married, how long were you in Chennai?
That would have been like for about 8-9 years, I think I was working before
Okay.
marriage. Yeah.
So, and this marriage thing happened. So, did you just come to the US immediately after getting married, like the
Yeah,
dependent visa and
pretty much
everything?
immediately. I was there for a couple of weeks just to get my visa processing formalities done, and then I joined him after that. So
So, you were here on H4, right?
I was. Yep.
So, how was that feeling of working for a long time in Chennai and then coming here and not able to work?
I
What went
really
through your head?
Yeah, that's a great question because that's something I really, really missed because I was a very active person back home in Chennai. So I felt very handicapped. Like when I came here, I was like, I can't work, I can't do anything, I can do my programs, I can't teach dance. I was like, where am I? What am I doing? And the first place that I landed was in a town called, how did I forget this place? It is in Illinois, closer to Chicago. And Peoria, the town is Peoria.
Yeah.
That's where I landed first, and that's such a small town, and the picture of US that you see in movies, you always see New York and California. So Peoria was a completely different picture for me. It was just a small town, and the whole town had only one Walmart for everything.
Were you doubting your husband if he actually got you to the US or someone?
Seriously, not when, I mean, I didn't doubt him when we were in love, but when I landed here in US, I was like, what is he doing here in this place? It was so lonely, and I mean that it was a very short time frame. For 2 or 3 months we stayed there, and then he moved to a different job, and then we moved to Connecticut. So that was the best thing that happened. But I was like, oh my God, what is going on? It was totally a different experience when I landed here. But then again, he was a great support for me. So he said we can, reach out to temples here in US and, check with them if I could take dance classes, dance lessons for the kids. And I started reaching out and doing that. And then the company that I was working for last, it was an IT consulting firm. They had an office in New Jersey here. So I checked with them if I could, help them with placement assistance just to keep my skills, up to date. And they also agreed to it. The good thing was they said if I had a placement, they'll give me a commission and they'll transfer that to my Indian account without me legally, working here. So that kind of arrangement, and that was really good. They helped me at least. I mean, I didn't make any money there, but good thing was I was
you busy at least. You're doing something.
And I understood the US market, how things work here in US and how I recruit people and things like that. So that was really helpful for me.
That is very nice. So when did Nadanaalaya happen?
Nadanaalaya, yeah. So the first couple of years, I did not do anything. I was just helping this company out, sitting at home, trying to source some profiles for them, those kind of things. And then I was also trying to teach a few kids in temples. So that's how my first year in US went. And then second year, I was carrying my first son. So that again, I didn't think about work or dancing or anything like that. And after I gave birth to my son, 6-7 months down the line, I really wanted to get back and do something because I felt like I'm just sitting at home doing nothing. And especially I was missing dance a lot. And I put on so much of weight at that point, and I really wanted to do something and get back on track. So that is when Nadanaalaya started. I reached out to one of the temples and I hired a hall. Like part of my whatever fee the kids pay, part of that will go to the temple as a donation. So they agreed to give me that hall to take classes. So that's how it started. And
I would like to apologize. I messed up the name. I butchered the name completely. I said
Oh, no, no, that's
Nadanaalaya.
okay. You
So,
can
so
say
what's
Nadanaalaya.
the meaning of Nadanaalaya?
Nadanam
Yeah,
is in Tamil is dance. Nadanam is dance. So,
Nadanaalaya is
Nadanaalaya.
dance. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I see. All right. So, you started that in Connecticut, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And
I'm doing it
did
from my
you
home.
I'm sorry.
And then I started doing it from my home initially. And then we were in Pennsylvania for about 7 years in between due to job change. And there again, I was doing it in my home. And then back to Connecticut again. That's when I started the dance school as such officially.
Okay. And you continued when you moved to Atlanta as well?
Yes, yes. I just started my dance school here, but unfortunately, this year we couldn't do any in-person classes because of the COVID situation. But I still do online classes as well.
Okay. Now, another thing that we came to know about you is you play this percussion instrument called Parai. What is it called? Parle?
Parai, it's called Parai. Yeah, yeah,
Parai. Okay.
yeah.
Where did you learn that?
Yeah, so that's one of my very, very proud achievements, I would say. Again, thanks to my husband because he is very passionate about anything that's native, that has, that has touch with our roots back home. So he always wants to encourage those kind of skills and arts. So he's very closely and emotionally attached to that. And what happened was when he went to India, he happened to meet one of those masters who does Parai, and he was very interested in that art. And he had a crash course with them during his stay in India. And then after coming back, he arranged a workshop for a bunch of people here in US. So we formed a team, and then we had this person come over to US and do a workshop for us. It was just a 3-day workshop, but he taught us the basics of Parai. And from then on, we found a place, a factory, godown where we can accommodate 15 people who could practice this, because it makes so much of noise, and you need to make sure you find the right place to practice. That's the biggest thing. You cannot do it at home with so many people. Like 1 or 2 is fine, but if you're practicing as a group, then you cannot obviously do it at home. So that was a big challenge. And we had one of the patrons who was, like, again, very passionate about Parai. He let us use his factory space. And we started practicing regularly. We formed a team. We started performing on stages. And all 3 of us, me, my husband, and my son, all 3 of us performed that. And till
All
date,
three of you play that instrument? All three of you can play that instrument?
yeah,
Do you have that instrument at home?
I do. I have it.
And you mentioned your son also plays that instrument, right?
He does. He does.
Uh,
Yeah.
and his name is Aryan?
Ariman.
Ariman. Okay. Can we get a glimpse of Ariman? I would like to talk to him if possible.
Absolutely. Ariman.
Hey, Ariman, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for coming here on Rubaru
No
and
problem.
talking. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm currently 14 years old.
You're 14-year-old. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your mom first. What do
Well,
you love about her and what do you absolutely hate about her?
That's a very risky question.
I guess you could consider our relationship as more of a best friend to best friend relationship.
Wow, that's
Exactly.
amazing.
Mother and son relationship. I can basically do anything, say anything with my mom. So she's caring, obviously nice, almost like a whole bunch of moms in the world. Um, And my favorite thing about her is we have so many things in common. My favorite book series is Harry Potter. Her favorite book series is Harry Potter. We both love dancing. In fact, when I was younger, I had a lot of time, so we would do dances together for fun and on stage. I would do dance competitions of my own. She would choreograph them, and she was talking about it before. She has her own Bharathanatyam team and everything. So
Right. So your mom just mentioned that you also play that percussion instrument,
yes,
right?
yes.
Other than that instrument, how much, like, how are you involved with music? I mean, I know that.
So, dancing is definitely one way I'm really involved with music. I love to dance. I can't really find as many kids here in my area, but I dance with adults a lot. I do dance with my mom, and there are other adults like my dad's friends that are good at dancing, and I dance with them. I play guitar and piano.
Oh,
Piano is
wow.
not one of my favorites. I have been playing for a long time, but uh, it's not one of my favorites. But guitar is one of my favorites. I always find time to practice it every day. I can play a lot of. I can actually. No, I don't play that many English songs. I love playing Tamil songs on guitar. Tamil.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. So, is it possible for your mother-son duo to show us a little bit about that percussion instrument and a little bit of guitar from you as well?
Yeah, yeah, sure, definitely.
Let's hear it out. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I think so. We haven't tried it sitting and doing it, but we will try. If it doesn't work, we will stand and do it.
Okay. First show us how does it look so that we get a complete picture of what exactly the instrument looks like. Okay. Is it hollow on the other side or it's the same thing on the other side?
Yeah, no, it's hollow on the other side.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just the animal skin on top here. So
Okay, got it. Okay.
these are the sticks we use to play.
Oh, you need two sticks to play?
2 sticks, yeah, on both hands.
Okay.
And I was just telling you that this is one of my proud achievements, right? Because back home in India and in native parts of Tamil Nadu, this instrument is considered more on a negative perspective. Like, whenever there is a death ceremony, people think that's when they play this instrument. And it is more attached to caste as well. They say that some particular caste only touch this. So people from high level caste, they don't use this, which is a belief again. That people still believe in those things, but we definitely wanted to break all that. We wanted to use this for good things, and this music is such a vibrant, gives a such vibrant feel. And every time we touch this, we play this, or we also dance when we play this on stage. So the kind of energy, the positive energy that you get, your mind, your body, everything feels so refreshed. And one thing that I'm really happy about is I've done some online performances as well. Whenever I post this anywhere in FB groups or on my Facebook page or anywhere YouTube, I get such a good response for that. So I'm really happy that it's making a positive impact and people have started looking at this instrument in a right way. So I'm really, really glad that it's happening.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it out.
Yeah. You go and I will join with you. What about you? Yeah. You can start.
Wow, that was awesome. Good.
Went with the flow, so we didn't practice or anything. We usually do that.
This was amazing. And I'm pretty sure all our audience, all our viewers and listeners must have really loved it. They would have not expected it, I'm pretty sure. So it was a very pleasant surprise. Very well done. Mother-son duo. You guys are amazing. That was really good.
Not
So,
prepared, but we wanted to give it a try. So
It was amazing. It was amazing. Thank you, Ariman, for doing this. I mean, and supporting your mom. Very nice. Now, before I let you go, Ariman, I would like to hear a little bit of guitar from you, if you can.
Okay. Yeah.
While he's getting ready, I just want to thank everyone, all my friends who have joined us today, taking the time to watch me. Thanks, thanks.
In fact, even the ones who could not join does not need to get disheartened because this video is going to stay on our channel forever. So whenever you get time, they can always go back and
Yep.
see it. So that's the best part. All right, let's look at Ariman now.
Um. I'm gonna be playing a song, Tamil song. It's called Nenjukul Pedirum from the movie Varathanatyam. It's a very difficult song to do on guitar. I've been practicing it for a while, and I'll give it a try. I'm not very good at singing, so I'm probably not gonna sing most of the time.
I'll join a little bit.
I'll try my best. I
Don't worry about it. Just being here and playing in front of the world, that itself should give you a boost. That should give you confidence.
I'm not
That
very,
itself is a big deal.
and I'm not very familiar with the lyrics either. I can
That's okay.
I can't memorize them. Um, okay.
Wow, that was amazing. Very nice, very nice, very nice, Ariman.
Singing, like I said, I'm not a singer. I just wanted to support him. So
No, that is what I was about to say. The just the fact that you are not a singer, but you were still helping him out so that he could play that instrument well. That itself is a big thing from a mother, right? I mean, that is where the mother comes in, right? Like I don't care whether I know singing or not, but I'm going to support my son.
Yeah.
What else do you need? I mean, that's amazing relationship that you guys have.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you once again, Ariman. Thank you once again for joining and performing those instruments. Thanks.
Good opportunity. Thank you.
All right.
Uh,
All right, Madhu.
yeah.
So we have like very only 6 minutes left. So I wanted to ask you about your Bharat FM journey.
Yeah.
How did it happen? And how has the journey been so far?
I'll answer your second question first. It's been nothing but wonderful experience after I have been associated with Bharat FM. It's an awesome team. Thanks to you and Manan Bhai for giving me this opportunity to be an RJ, totally a different avatar for me, I should say. What made me interested in this is basically because I have been emceeing a lot of events. I was part of Tamil Sangams, right? I've mentioned that before. So I love interacting with people. So whenever there is an event, I get on stage, I grab the mic, I start talking. So I love doing that, organizing events and conducting events. That's been my favorite part of the events. So I mean, because of this corona, I was like, okay, why don't we try something from home, because we don't have anything happening outside at this point, no stage events or any celebrations happening. So I wanted to I was very interested in news reading when I was in college, and when I started working, I did.
Okay.
I gave auditions as well to a couple of channels in Chennai, but it didn't work out at the time. So that was there in the back of my mind. And then I thought, why not try RJing? I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it from home, but I thought, let me give it a try. And just randomly, I started doing a search for, radio stations, FM channels, and I started sending out my voice sample to the channels. And like I said, big thanks to Mananji. He responded back immediately after he got my message, and he put me in touch with you, and that's how it happened. And thanks for that wonderful concept, because I know you're doing Meria Vasana in Hindi, and which is a very hit show in Bharat FM. So you gave me the same concept, and to continue in Tamil, and that put me in touch with a lot of singers and a lot of people who write poems for my show. They've been consistently supporting me and watching my show as well. So it's been a wonderful journey and experience so far, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot with Bharat FM in future.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question. Where do you see yourself in next few years? Like, what is your dream? What would you like to be in the next couple of years? Like maybe 5 to 10 years, I would say.
In general,
Yeah, in general. Yeah.
okay. As far as my career goes, I would definitely like to see myself heading a company. From the HR perspective, human resources head, planning everything out in terms of resource management, talent acquisition. I want to see myself as a head in a company. That's from a career perspective. Personally, I think I'm giving my best being a mom and a good wife. I would want to continue doing that, because when you have a lot of things on your table, you tend to miss out on your personal side, right? So I don't
Right.
want that to happen. I want to make sure I still do my part as a good wife and mother, and of course as a daughter as well. So other than that, yeah, specifically with Bharat FM, like I said, I definitely want to get involved and do more shows, reach out to a lot of people, if possible, start my own, channel here in Atlanta, and I mean, grow with Bharat FM. That's what I would say. That's definitely
Perfect. That
back of my mind as well.
that is awesome. And always keep the honest feedback coming, because that is how we are all going to grow over here at Bharat FM. So thank you for being part of Bharat FM. To be very honest, I mean, you have been doing your segment really ethically and professionally as well, and and we can see that you enjoy doing it as well. Even though it is like 9:30 p.m. on Monday, and it runs until 11 in the night, you still feel fresh even at 11:30 in the night, because you are enjoying the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a big thanks at this point to you for giving me that wonderful opportunity. And then from a personal front, my husband who takes care of my kids and who supports me in all this, big thanks to him. And very big thanks to all my friends and viewers who have been supporting me. They have been the backbone for everything that I do. So thank you so much. Whoever is watching, love you all. Thank you.
So before we end, Madhu, I mean, we are almost at the end of the hour. But before we end, is there anything that you think I might have missed and you would like to share that with our audience?
No, I think you pretty much covered all the aspects. I couldn't think of anything that we missed. We spoke about everyone, every aspect of my life. So I think you pretty much covered everything there.
Awesome. Well, if that is the case, then I think we have come to the end of our show. And once again, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing your life story in your own words, and not just sharing with your story, but also performing with the talent that you and your son have. That was really an icing on the cake, to be very honest.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madhu. And with that, we come to the end of our show. So I hope the way I enjoyed this entire conversation, all our viewers and listeners must have enjoyed it as well. So thank you very much and good night.
Thank you.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and Adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one of its kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information, and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago, and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sfurti, shakti, and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा